2 days he never managed to ask this question. He would also like to catch up with her and ask her, but she rushes like the wind. John is not yet in the shape and condition to be able to catch up with the girl. One circle is equal to 500 meters. He just needs to wait for her in place, and very soon the girl will run past him. Then he will be able to talk to her. Trying to catch his breath, the guy again misses the girl. She silently runs past him. Just standing still and waiting for her is too humiliating. You need to keep moving. The sneakers indicate that the guy ran 3 kilometers, and the time taken was about 33 minutes. John is breathing heavily. His goal for today has already been accomplished, but he would like to talk to the lady. He decides that for now he should just walk. The girl will probably do some stretching afterwards, and then he'll be able to catch her there. Suddenly, a white cord flies near his head, almost hitting his face. John lifts his head up, noticing a quadcopter in the air with some paper attached. Suddenly, the piece of paper opens. 2 names flaunt on it, namely Daniel and Kathleen, with a heart drawn between the inscriptions. The main character, seeing this, falls into a slight shock of surprise. He could not even think that this would happen today. A blonde guy approaches the girl and says that today is their holiday. He asks her to accept flowers and his love. John finally learned the heroine's name, although not quite in the way he wanted. It turns out that the girl already has a very cool boyfriend. He has nothing to catch. With his head down, the main character follows towards the house, but suddenly notices a shadow on the ground. Noodles appears in front of him. He now understands the reason for his sudden changes. Irritated, John asks his friend why he came here so early. He replies that he wanted to see if the guy was really running around here. As it turned out, the friend comes here just to look at the beauty. This girl is one of the most beautiful ladies in their academy, who studies at the Faculty of Traditional Painting. The main character sighs and says that he knew nothing about this girl before. In any case, she has a boyfriend. He has nothing to catch here. A friend puts his hand on a friend's shoulder and says that he gave up too early, because nothing is clear in their situation yet. John does not understand what is being said, and then sharply turns in the direction from which he so wanted to escape. He sees a blonde guy named Daniel squatting and crying with a crumpled bouquet lying next to him. The main character blossoms. He is incredibly happy when he learns that the girl is free. Noodles says he should share some gossip with his friend. The rejected guy's name is Daniel. He is one of the main majors at the academy. The guy has been chasing the girl who interested John so much for a whole year. But throughout all this time, she rejected him and never agreed to any of the proposals. The guy asks his friend not to despair. He will definitely succeed. The main character thinks that he has a good chance, but he just needs to lose weight. He comes to the workshop on Saturday. The guy is reading a book, thinking about many things in his head. If he loses weight, he will be able to compete for girls' hearts even with majors. John decides that he needs to stop fantasizing and start illustrating the novel, and the mention of his name as the artist of a popular novel should also give him some weight. The main character is kind, active, smart, and carries her cute pet with her everywhere. He repeats this over and over again, trying to gather his thoughts and imagine how it should look on the sheet. Suddenly, the hero discovers that his own hand drew Kathleen. Embarrassed, the guy realizes that this style would suit the girl very much. Suddenly, a man enters the room, commenting that their meetings are a coincidence. John begins to worry greatly when he sees Kathleen. He did not expect her to come right now. She says that she also decided to draw, and her friend is again in the workshop. The main character says that they walk on the same paths, but the girl does not pay attention to this. She is interested in work. Suddenly, John realizes that the picture is of Kathleen, and this looks rather strange on his part. He covers himself with a sheet of paper and says that he didn't draw her. This is the main character of the short story, and he based it not on her, but on another girl. Kathleen giggles and says she means the rabbit. It looks just like a living one. The main character, trying to calm down from his worries, thanks her for the compliment. Inside himself, he thinks that he said complete nonsense. He has already received 100 refusals from girls and boys, but for some reason, he continues to be nervous in front of her. The guys sit next to each other, starting to create their works. The guy mixes different colors on his palette, thinks that it is better for him to remain silent before he says another stupid thing. After some time, he finishes illustrating the novel. Another task has been unlocked, and called Illustrator. You need to draw 1,000 illustrations. John is very happy, because this task is right for him, given his hand speed. Completing these 4 stages will not be difficult. He decides to see what additional items he can buy. It turns out that there is only a pen here that costs 100 points. The main character presses the button, deciding to read more about this subject. The pen can be used as a pencil, watercolor, markers, colored pencils, and much more. The modes can be changed with one click. This pen covers any illustrator's needs, which is probably why there is nothing else here in terms of usefulness. This item will be no worse than sneakers. The main character thinks that he only has 2 glasses, so shopping is postponed. He is suddenly distracted by Kathleen, who waves her hand in front of his face and asks if everything is okay. John glances at her as he walks out of his table and item store. He says that he was just thoughtful, but everything is quite fine. The lady says that she needs to go do her homework and says that she will not disturb him. The guy awkwardly says goodbye to the girl and waves after her. She collects her things in a bag, turns towards the door, and heads out. John thinks that the girl approached him on her own. It was a great opportunity to talk to her. Well, what will be the use of losing weight if the guy continues to not take advantage of such chances? You need to be nicer. He has plus 16 to hand speed. It's easy for him to impress any person. But if you sketch out a draft and ask her for advice, then you can add her as a friend. The guy makes a lot of different illustrations. The first stage of the task is completed. The main character is happy that he completed both tasks very quickly. John imagines the girl admiring his skills and asking him to be added as a friend. After this, the guy will say that knowledge is important and needs to be shared. This is his motto in life. Shy with slow steps, he approaches the girl from behind. Catherine says goodbye to her subscribers and says that she is waiting for them on the next broadcasts. She thanks people for their support, says goodbye to them, and receives many compliments. John asks her if she streams. The girl says that she needs to earn a living somehow. She asks her friend how long he has been standing behind her, because she did not notice how he approached. The main character asks to evaluate a couple of his sketches. Perhaps the girl can give advice on how to improve them. She says she does traditional painting and doesn't know anything about comics. The guy catches himself thinking that Kathleen is not going at all according to the script in his head. The girl begins to give comments about the work. She suggests that he modify the limbs of the male character if he needs to be made more sharp and assertive. Then he can paint over his limbs with ink. John thinks about what was said. It is quite possible to work with this. He asks the girl to give her a brush in order to show his abilities in front of her. A little ink and the main character of the story began to play completely differently. John decides to refine the female characters as well, actively waving his brush and ink. The girl's eyes widen in surprise. She's never seen such speed. Kathleen says the guy is very fast. John scratches his head and says it's no problem. He catches himself thinking that he finally impressed the lady and didn't even mumble his answer. The girl says that with such talents, he should record the streams himself. The main character receives another task called Master of Streams. He needs to get 100 million views on broadcasts. He is very surprised by this because he recently received a new task, and here he came across another one. Previously, all tasks were opened after John himself began to complete them, and only Kathleen's suggestion was enough to open the last task. When completed, he is given a bunch of points, and after completing all the stages he will get more, plus 15 to his charm. This is what he wants most. The main character begins to laugh out loud, joyfully imagining what his life could look like in the future. The girl also supports the guy, laughing with him, and then asks him if she said something stupid. John asks himself why he started laughing, hoping that the girl won't take him for some kind of crazy person. Trying to rectify the situation, he lowers his eyes and says that the idea of making broadcasts seems so cool to the guy that he laughed with delight. The girl says that she was glad to help with advice. Today, she still has a lot of things to do, so she needs to leave. Suddenly, John asks her to stop. She clarifies what's the matter. The guy lowers his eyes down, is very worried, blushes. He collects his thoughts. The main character says that he knows nothing about streaming and offers to have dinner together so that Kathleen will tell him about it. She replies that she wouldn't mind consulting him, but she won't be able to do it today, since a meeting is already scheduled. John falls into a slight stupor, trying to come up with something else in order to somehow contact the girl in the future. He asks her if she can add him as a friend on a social network. After this, the main character lowers his eyes and blushes with embarrassment, worrying that the lady may refuse. But despite all his doubts, Kathleen hands her friend the phone and asks him to scan the code. The guy smiles broadly and takes out his gadget to do what she asked. Suddenly, the phone disappears from the hands of the main character. Someone comments that everything will not happen so quickly. John looks into his hand and does not find the gadget in it, does not understand how it could be snatched. This is a fair-haired guy. He is interested in how a hickey like John cannot have knowledge on this topic. Kathleen asks the guy to stop behaving like this and return her friend's phone. The guy shows the girl the apps on the main character's phone. There are 5 applications on the screen with the word stream. The girl replies that she understands everything and asks to return the phone to the guy. He asks what he thinks about himself. A pig is not a swan's friend. The main character replies that he just wanted to add his friend as a friend. The blonde guy shouts that it would be better if he added sports to his life. They don't need such friends. Kathleen sighs resignedly and asks her friend to shut up, holding his arm. John looks after them doomedly. Apparently nothing worked out. The weather outside is clear and hot. The sun hangs high in the sky. The main character trains at the stadium according to his own schedule in order to achieve his goal. Yes, he wanted to cheat a little, but he still didn't deserve such an attitude. In a past life, the guy really lived like a pig. It's hard to argue with that. Thinking about this, he looks down at his stomach with an upset expression. After rebirth, the main character began to work hard on himself, but the results are not very noticeable yet. If John wants others to look at him with different eyes, then he must change even more. The first stage of the task, called the walker, is completed. The reward is 1 point and a bonus to stamina. The guy smiles and promises himself that he will definitely achieve his dream. John is happy because he has already completed the first stage and his endurance has increased. In a previous life, the guy could not have dreamed of such rapid growth. The system was right. If you don't give up, you can achieve a lot. Now the task of running 10,000 kilometers no longer seems impossible. The main character once again imagines this quote and looks up with inspiration. He still has energy left for a couple of laps, so he doesn't stop trying. Apparently, this is the result of increased endurance. Accumulated fatigue disappeared as if by hand. Given the increase in average speed and endurance, the guy could run 5 to 7 kilometers in the morning and evening. The main character should estimate priority tasks in order to maximize his efficiency. The walker task should be placed at the very bottom to complete it. The guy just needs to run every day. And over time, speed, strength, and endurance will increase. Improving these properties, in turn, will allow the illustrator to complete the task faster. That evening, John decided to come to the workshop to work on the broadcast. For a drawing-themed stream, the best option is the 8th station. It is quite popular among fans of games, comics, and cartoons. The main character presses the start button and decides it's time to start. He is not sure that it would be interesting for the audience to see him on the first stage. It would most likely be helpful to start with something that was recognizable to a large number of people. The guy secures his phone and decides to draw what he does best. The main character also prepares his equipment for drawing. Smiling with excitement, John decides he should start broadcasting. Before the start of the stream, the guy sends out an invitation to all his groups so as not to broadcast in vain. Suddenly, having started the stream, he notices that a lot of viewers have come. People send Batten gifts for real money. He thinks that it was not in vain that he sent them gifts in his time. John thanks people for their compliments and gifts and points the camera at the canvas without showing his face. People send messages one after another. Some are negative, while others, on the contrary, are trying to support him. Many people also discuss the drawing, laughing at the girl and admiring her. Subscribers try to guess who the main character is drawing, finally guessing. John adds some details with quick hand movements. And that's it. In the end, his sketch is completed. The guy is waiting for the reaction of his viewers. Suddenly, a lot of donations with money begin to arrive on his phone. The guy continues to work hard and thinks about what his subscribers haven't even seen yet. Plus 16 to his hand speed. In a split second, the main character completes his picture in color, adding details. Many people on the other side of the screen are sitting with their mouths open in shock at what they just saw. People enthusiastically send money to the guy's account, praise his talents, and admire the speed of his work. John smiles widely, delighted at this success, which is pretty good for a first time. He scratches his head at his temple with a pencil and thinks about what else he could draw in order to impress the audience even more. The main character thinks that it took a lot of time for people to recognize the girl, so it's worth drawing someone more recognizable. He decides that if the first character was associated with ice, then drawing a second fire person would be a great idea. Suddenly, the guy remembers that an online session on a certain comic book character was announced. The main character grins evilly. A great idea comes to him. He puts another sheet on the easel, thinking about how soon the audience will recognize the new character. John picks up a pencil, starting to work on a sketch of his next work. People watching the stream try to guess who is depicted on the piece of paper.